Hey everyone, welcome to the live. This is Wally with Supreme Gecko.
And Nanette.
You know, it's always fun when you're using a software application and they make major changes that you don't realize until you go in and actually go live and screens start popping up. Am I live? Am I not live? I don't know because it's doing all kinds of things. Fantastic. Thank you very much, Frank. The fit today is I have no idea. Things I do in my spare time. Everything leopard gecko. I don't know where I got this t-shirt, but I've had it. You're wearing
jail strips.
So when I see that shirt on you, Nanette,
Yeah.
I think three words. Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice?
Oh, she did it. She did it.
Why Beetlejuice?
Well, it's a black and white striped shirt. Isn't that what Beetlejuice wore? Oh my gosh. It's been a crazy week. So last week, go ahead. What?
Somebody says they don't have power since early this morning.
Oh my gosh.
Are you in Florida?
Yeah, Jerry, I hope you get power back right away. I hope everything is safe and secure at least. Our hearts and our prayers certainly go out to everybody that was affected last week. And also obviously with Milton this week, the hurricane that went through last night and early this morning. Can't say enough. You know, we know that several businesses have been hit pretty bad. Tiki's Geckos was hit really bad. With tornadoes. Not as bad as it could have been. You know, we're getting some updates from David, and his was the tornado, not the hurricane. So it's always bad. And again, you know, whatever we can do, if anybody needs anything, let us know. We'll do whatever we can, you know, from a Wally and a Nanette standpoint. Yeah, you know, you can plan, and you're always going to forget something. Something's going to happen. Again, hearts and prayers out to the people in our South that have gone through these terrible natural disasters. It's crazy. Hey, Cassandra. Hi, Jen. Just wanted to say hi to some people.
Laura.
Jerry, again. Hello. Frank the Tank, Angie, Jen, Laura. Am I saying names over and over again? Julie, Mopets. Thank you for joining us tonight. This is going to be a very, very casual evening. We're going to talk about a couple of things that are current right now. And I just wanted to mention, you know, again, it's been a crazy. You okay there?
Sorry.
Need a nap?
I could use a nap.
It's
been a hard day.
Unfortunately, Nanette had to go to work today.
Yesterday.
What is today? And yesterday. I'm
Yeah.
trying to think of what day it is. That's how much of a whirlwind it's been for the last week and a half. It started last week, you know, starting of the week with feeding and cleaning and getting everything ready because we left for New Orleans Friday morning and we were gone for 5 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and almost all day Tuesday. We got in late Tuesday and boots on the ground. We hit the ground running and spent 2.5 hours Tuesday night.
Oh, when we came back.
We came back, just feeding, getting everything ready. Now, you're going to ask, you know, what did you do? Hey, ghouls and geckos, thank you very much for joining us. You're going to ask, well, what did you do to get everything ready? Well, we fed and fed and fed. So when we left Friday morning, everything had crickets or mealworms or dubias or all three. Everything had fresh, clean water. Everything was set. Cassandra, today is your Friday. So we left Friday morning and got on that plane, everything was set for easy 2 or 3 or 4 days. Certainly 4 days. Misted everything, you know, Thursday night to make sure that humidity was up in all the tanks that needed humidity. So we really didn't have to worry about anything when we were gone, right? For 5 days, we didn't have to worry about a thing.
Didn't ask until Sunday night how it was going at home with Crystal.
So the one thing that we had to worry about, what was the one thing that we had to worry about?
Hatching. And we set everything up so that she already knew what to do. So we weren't really worried. I mean, she pretty much tells me what to do when a gecko hatches or what kind it is. So we had it all ready for her. Everything was out, and she just kind of ran the run, and she told her dad how to do things, and they got the geckos in containers until we got home, and everybody was fine. They had several hatches, and
Hi,
she
Kendra.
would send me a text at night saying this one hatched, and we're good.
So what does that mean though? When you say she kind of ran everything through, what happens when you have a gecko hatching? How did she know where to put it?
Well, she knew the type of gecko. She knew what it was. She knew if it was desert right away because she knows. She knew if it needed sphagnum moss. So we had wet sphagnum ready to go. She had plastic containers. She knows how to label them, how to take the stickers off of everything. She could put away crusteds and gargoyles on her own. Pictus she does on her own. So she knew what she was doing.
Do you remember what all hatched by the time that we got back Tuesday that we had to put away? Do you remember?
There were vipers. There were Tanganicas. I think there were scabrum, if I remember right. She said that. There were hatches of crusties for sure.
Lots of crusties.
There were gargoyles. There were a couple of gargoyles, weren't there?
Yep.
Trying to think what else she told me. She was excited about the vipers. I remember that. I don't remember what else she said.
Pets. Shh. She's too young. That would be under child labor laws. We can't compensate her yet.
Yeah, we fed her dinner tonight.
We fed her dinner. We had tons of ficta hatching out.
Yes.
So what they did was, unfortunately, what we have to do sometimes is viper geckos hatch out. We have viper grow out bins already. She could put the vipers away.
Yep.
She could put the scabrum. She could put the tanganicas. She could put everything away. But crusted geckos, I wanted everything numbered. Date,
right.
number. So she and Jordan obviously had deli cups, and she'd put the animal in the deli cup with a wet paper towel, sphagnum moss. Then she'd take a little piece of tape, put it on the deli cup, and write the date that it hatched and the parent number. So that made it easy for us to then transfer those crusted geckos over to their grow out bins from the deli cups. But in the numbering. 2 days, 2 or 3 or 4 days that they would hatch, that was fine for them because normally geckos don't eat their first day or 2 or 3.
And she put a wet paper towel in there. She wet it down. She watched them.
Yep.
Laura, she did. She just doesn't know it because we came home Tuesday night and worked downstairs, and she had homework and needed to get ready for school. I had to get ready, so we didn't have any time. Last night she had church, and we had our stuff going on there, came home. And so after our show tonight, she will get her T-shirt. She just doesn't know about it yet.
I wonder if she's watching this and now she knows that she's
it.
getting a T-shirt.
She's not watching. She's doing homework.
My grandparents went to New Orleans and all I got was this.
T-shirt.
So it was exciting. So all day Wednesday, so we fed the crusted geckos Tuesday, 2.5 hours. I fed the babies, the crusted geckos, got that taken care of. And then Wednesday was all day feeding the leopard room, I call them weirdo geckos, the rarer geckos, moving babies around, feeding the 10-gallon tanks.
Insects came in.
Insects came in. So it was crazy catching up Wednesday. Today has been, the video that just came out at 6 o'clock. And this, I want to mention this really quick. I did a video today on how to buy animals at Supreme Gecko. I have had so many requests lately. Hey, send me your availability list. Hey, what do you have available? Hey, do you have crusted geckos available? Hey, is this gecko available? It's been crazy and I just cannot keep up. And I hate to say the same thing to everybody, on how to go through that process. So today I put out a video that I can use now when somebody says, how do I get on your list to get these animals when they become available? So if you're curious on getting rare geckos, if you're curious on how you obtain geckos from Supreme Gecko or even supplies, watch that video that came out today on the Supreme Gecko YouTube channel. And I kind of walk through the whole process because it is complicated. I don't think anybody in the industry does things like me. Is that an obvious statement?
Yeah.
I always have to complexify things. Is that a word, complexify?
Well, for you it is.
Yeah. So I do
your
a different
name after it in the dictionary.
And the reason that we do things like this is, what's that?
I'm gonna
Complexify?
look that one up.
I bet you it is. I don't know. the reason I do it is, well, I explained it in the video. Go watch the video. I want to mention,
You know, before you go any further, you know what else
Yeah.
we did on Wednesday?
no spreadsheets. Mopats, no spreadsheets. So years and years ago, probably about 4 years ago, I stopped doing this because I had spreadsheets every single year tracking. I'm sorry that I
You're fine.
interrupted, but every single year I had the wish list on spreadsheets. I would keep track of the person, their email address, their Facebook account link, what geckos they were looking for. Oh my gosh, it was a pain in the patootie trying to keep up with all of this. So 4 years ago, I stopped doing that. And I said, if you want a gecko, you keeper that's asking me if we have geckos available and you want a specific gecko, I'm going to make you do a little bit of work, and you're going to go over to, I'll spill the beans a little bit. You'll go over to our Facebook Supreme Gecko account, go to the top where it says 2024 wish list. Next year, we'll say 2025, and it'll just carry over. And you're going to put in looking for Coleonyx brevis pair. And then I'll use that wish list to fulfill. If I have brevis become available, I'll go through that wish list and find the first person that posted, and then just work my way down. Then I'm sorry, what were you
Two
saying?
things. Complexify means to make something more complex needlessly.
Which I'm doing with the word
Mhm.
complex.
Yes. And then the second thing, Wednesday, another thing we did was we had to catch up on all our shipping.
Oh my God.
When I came home from work, we were
Oh,
shipping
that's
stuff too.
Right. That's right. It was a scramble Wednesday afternoon
Yeah,
because
it was tight.
you got home, we did all the shipping, and then because we delayed shipping, obviously we got orders Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. We didn't ship Monday and Tuesday because we got in so late Tuesday. So Nanette had to scramble and do the shipping Wednesday because she went off to church activities Wednesday night, and you picked up live insects, small mealworms that we were all out of. Talking about an emergency. So you had a busy Wednesday.
So did you.
We've been scrambling.
But it's been fine.
I'm just looking at some of the, thanks for like reminders. Oh, hey, I seen that and was wondering if you still used it. Not sure what that is.
Maybe the page.
Oh, the wish list.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yes, we do use it. So Angry Dwarf Axe, watch that video because it's only about 6 or 6.5 minutes or so.
Long.
It's not a long one. It kind of explains exactly how we do it and why we do it. So we went down to New Orleans Friday morning. We left Friday morning. What time were we up? Like 4 o'clock?
Yeah, we left here at 5.
And
we were at the airport at 5.
Yeah, the wish list. Thanks, Angry. And we got down to New Orleans, kind of walked through what we did Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday.
Well, Friday we flew out, and yes, you were so on, Laura. Friday we flew out in the morning from Milwaukee, and we got down there. I think we got down there about 11:30, and it was pouring.
Torrential
pouring. It was
very
sad.
It was Hurricane Nanette when we got in there.
I
shouldn't joke.
No, don't joke about that. I was very sad though that it was raining because I was concerned about the plans I had laid out for the weekend. But we got to the hotel, and pleasantly we're surprised we were able to get our room 3 hours earlier.
And we sat there and
we watched TV, and then we both fell asleep because we were so tired from being up early. And I had a little bit of a headache after the plane ride. It was a little bumpy going in, and I wasn't really happy with that.
You had a headache because of the concussion.
Well, yeah, I hit my head on Wednesday night. I got hit in the head, and that wasn't good. So it's still there. But we didn't want to do anything about it because I wanted to go to New Orleans. So we got there. We took a nap. And then when we got up, it was done raining. So then
Frank, I'm going to come back to your point in just a minute.
And then we went to a restaurant that was recommended by my sister called the Fiery Crab. That was phenomenal. It was boiled fish that came to us in a great big bag. And you dump it out in a big silver tray. And we had lobster, and we had blue crab and shrimp and snow king crab legs. It had potatoes in it. It had sausage, that a dual or whatever, a dually sausage, and hard-boiled eggs.
And hard-boiled eggs.
We
Hard-boiled
didn't
eggs
eat
with
those.
seafood. No, we did not. We passed on the hard-boiled eggs.
So we ate all the seafood up, worked for quite a while to get the seafood out of the shells on some of it. It was excellent. And then and it was only like a 5-minute walk. So we walked back to the hotel, and then we went to bed and got up the next morning, and we had beignets for the first time. Oh no, we did not have beignets early. We had them
not
late.
early.
We got up early and we took off and walked down to the riverfront right away that morning. We didn't eat breakfast, did we? We just took off.
We
that morning.
didn't eat breakfast. We
Early.
made it down to the
We
river
waited.
walk, which was, within half mile or so. It wasn't too bad. And we found this little place. I can't remember the place.
It was a little coffee shop.
And we had little teeny tiny beignets. It was like, this
They were
is
like
pretty good.
this
This is good
big.
stuff.
They were
they
small.
were like maybe silver dollar size, not very big.
But we had
this is a
never
beignet.
had
This
them.
is good, and it was good. It wasn't bad. It was pretty
no.
good.
We ate something earlier because I was full. I didn't want the beignet when you had it. I don't remember what it was. We had something early in the morning. I don't know. So then we did that. We walked along the river and went to the river walk is now indoor, a lot of it. So we walked through that. It's like going to a mall. We walked there. Then we went and sat outside for a while on the river and had something to drink and just relaxed. And then I'm trying to think, we went back Saturday. Then we had the beignet treat.
So I almost died.
Back.
I almost died.
Oh, yeah,
so
you
we
ate
did the river
something.
walk, and I was hugely disappointed because back when I went there 15, 20 years ago, it was all indoors, but a huge
Outdoors.
part of it, it was all
okay.
indoors, most of it indoors, but a huge part of it was little food shops, little kiosks, food kiosks where you could go to get, cornbread. One was cornbread. And one was, seafood or crayfish and it was very, very ethnic, and it was local, it had that local flavor. Now everything was Popeyes and Haagen-Dazs and
it was weird. It was
Orange
all
Julius and
King Smoothie.
Okay, Critic Corner is here. Let's start the show over. No, we're not going to do that.
We went to King Smoothie, and I had a pineapple lemonade, which was phenomenal. Wally had a smoothie.
This is bad, folks.
That also had a little bit of protein powder in it. And later on that evening, did not feel real well. And I finally put it together yesterday in the middle of the day when I was thinking about it for some reason, and looked up the ingredient list, and it had flaxseed powder in it. And Wally is extremely allergic to flax seeds, to the point that we have an EpiPen, but we didn't have that with us on the trip.
So here's how bad it is. We went to Panera years ago, and I had an egg sandwich, and I literally just touched it to my lips, like to taste it. And I didn't take a bite, and immediately I could feel the heat and the tingling around my tongue and my lips, and didn't eat, the sandwich, obviously. And we found out that there was flax in it. Probably.
We didn't know you were allergic
ground
to it
flax
at that
or whatever.
point.
Yeah. Well, we kind of had an idea, but not that
Not
bad.
that. Mm-mm.
So this shake that had, the protein in the flaxseed, it must not have been ground or
It was ground flaxseed.
So it made me feel bad, but it didn't.
Right.
I didn't die.
I think it was probably because there was so much other stuff in there, and it wasn't like seed where you were biting into a seed.
Oh,
I think that's where it's more dangerous for you.
Yeah.
So we got through that night. Didn't know that's what made him not feel well. And you ended up not even eating dinner that night. We were going to go out to dinner. We walked down Bourbon Street.
All the way down Bourbon Street.
All the way down Bourbon. And that is an
mile.
experience in itself, let me tell you.
So
we saw lots of things.
People asking how many sets of beads Nanette got.
Zero. I
Hmm.
was eating a bag of potato chips though as we were walking. I needed something salty, and I wanted some chips, and some guy screamed, "Hey, chips!" at us.
Hey, chips!
And I just put the bag of chips
she's
in
running.
my purse,
She's
and I just
running
kept
and grabbing
walking.
my hand.
No, we felt very safe, very, very safe. There was a lot of jazz, but you couldn't hear jazz when we were walking down there very well because everybody was playing all kinds of music mixes, and you just couldn't find one place where you could hear just one band playing. So And then Wally didn't feel great, and then eventually told me. So then we just kind of walked back to the hotel, and I ended up getting a shrimp salad from our hotel, which was great for dinner. It was really good. And then we got up Sunday morning, and we went out and had beignets and breakfast. And we went to Cafe Benet, it was called. It was right across the street from our hotel. And we ordered breakfast, and I said, Wally, I'm going to order the beignets. Don't order beignets because they look like they're bigger here. And he's like, okay. And he ordered beignets. So you get 3 beignets, and they were that big. They were huge. So we had this huge breakfast, and we ended up taking beignets back to the hotel room and leaving them for later because we couldn't even eat them all. And then what did we do Sunday? Oh, Sunday we went to the World War II Museum. Mm-hmm. And did that and watched a movie in there, and that was very, very good and very interesting.
Good stuff.
It's laid out differently, and it was interesting. It was good.
We were in New Orleans, Critter Corner,
and then after that,
it took us. So the title of this is
3 hours.
Cruzin, NOLA. It took us 3 days to figure out what NOLA means.
Yeah, we didn't understand that was just
it was like,
New Orleans,
I don't get the nickname.
We actually looked it up on Google.
NOLA. What is it? Oh my God.
Did a little souvenir shopping, didn't buy much. There wasn't much there for us. We always bring something home from any trip, a little trinket, and it took us until the last day to bring home something. But then we did that Saturday or Sunday rather, and then Sunday night, I don't remember what we had for dinner Sunday night. We went and listened to the music down on Frenchman Street, and we Frenchman Market, and we listened to some good music down there, and we had a bowl of gumbo, which I had never had before, so that was good. We had that, and then for dinner, and that we did that like 4:00, and then on our way back we walked back through. We found another good place to sit and listen to music, and we had popcorn shrimp appetizer for dinner because we were full from the gumbo. And then we walked back to the hotel, and then the next morning we got up, and we could hear Bourbon Street quite loudly from our hotel. We were a couple blocks away, but you could hear it.
No voodoo dolls.
We'll
tell you what we didn't do in just a second.
Our elevator to our room was right across. There were 4 elevators that were literally across the hall from our door. So every time somebody came in late and had been out partying, we heard everything as they were coming down the hall. Then Monday morning, we got up and we went and had beignets again for breakfast.
Who would have thunk it?
Yep, and a chai tea that day. And then we went from there on the trolley. Or no, that was Sunday. We did the RTA trolley, and Wally got us on the wrong direction, one of them. So we took like an hour and a half ride and did a huge. Was
it an hour and a half?
It was long.
Was it really?
Yes, we did a big, huge loop back through. But then we got to Frenchman eventually.
That was our tour of New Orleans.
It was, and we saw lots. We saw Loyola, right?
Yes, we did.
Yes, and there was something else that was down there that we saw with Loyola.
Loyola University.
No, there was something else there too. We saw a lot of decorated homes for Halloween down there. A lot. Their yards were like packed and had a lot of people looking at them.
You got more beads.
Yeah, right. Somebody had a full pumpkin patch in their front yard. It was crazy. It was like going to a pumpkin farm.
Is that where we also saw the pumpkins that were like M&Ms?
No, that was on Facebook when I was scrolling.
I'm going to do pumpkins like Skittles.
I know, but okay.
Forget
it. We aren't doing that.
Okay.
So anyhow, and then on Monday, we got up and we got on the RTA and we went down to the Riverwalk area. We did something else early in the morning, and then we went back to the hotel, and then, we had breakfast. Then we went back to the hotel. Then we went down to the Riverwalk again and looked around a little bit. And then we got on the Queen Creole riverboat cruise.
No
cruise.
Pumpkin pies down there. No. Everything is how do you say it?
Pecan pies.
Pecan.
They had little tiny pecan pies.
How does everybody say it?
We didn't have it there.
No.
We tried not to eat common stuff. We tried to eat some of the more
like protein
foods.
shakes made with flaxseed. Yeah.
Then we had there's a helicopter right above our house right now. That's weird.
It's the cops. Somebody coming back for all those beads that you stole.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Now you made me forget. Oh, we went on the riverboat, the paddle boat cruise, and it was a historical one. And we learned a lot of history about New Orleans going up the river, correct? Yeah,
Yep.
up the river. And then
Yep.
we got off at a battlefield, Chalmette, I think it was called Chalmette.
Chalamet.
And we walked off there for an hour. We walked through the battlefield area. We heard a lot of history about the battle.
Andrew Jackson,
Andrew
the
Jackson,
British,
all that. Yep. Got to see really cool trees that had the oh great, I just went blank.
Spanish moss
hanging off the trees. I took a lot of really cool pictures.
I sang the Johnny Horton song over and
yes,
that
was over and over.
Ran through the brambles and they
okay.
ran through the bushes where the reps wouldn't go. So,
Done.
I've got to sing once.
You didn't sing all weekend. And then we had, what was the other thing? Oh, then we had lunch on the boat, on the riverboat coming back up.
Yeah,
we had jambalaya, we had bread pudding, which was really, really good. We had some gumbo. We had, what else did we have? Crawfish soup of some sort.
I'm leaving Angry's comment up because I want to come back to that.
Okay. And we had
soup was okay. It was like a Campbell's version of
it wasn't
jambalaya.
Yeah, it wasn't very good. So we had that, and then after that, we got off that and walked back up to our hotel, relaxed a while, and then for our last dinner again, we went back to the Fiery Crab and had that.
Why would we go to the same place
because
again?
it was phenomenal. Why? It was so good. And that time we took the blue crabs out because they were just too much work for me to figure out what I wanted to eat out of them. They were just
little tiny claws.
They were so tiny. It was too much
get
work.
the meat out. Yeah.
So we had shrimp instead with that one, and we loaded it up with shrimp. And they gave you a great big bucket on your table, and you just kind of dropped everything in the bucket. And
so they come and it's like a bag of food. It's not fish. It's seafood.
Yeah.
Bag of food with the potatoes and the boiled eggs and tons of shrimp, tons of crab. We have lobster in it. A clear cellophane bag. You open it up and just kind of dump it into the plate, and then you have like these big tins and no utensils
unless you ask for them, you don't get utensils.
And by like the second shrimp, you're dripping, and it's, who cares about your shirt because you already
they had bibs, and you did this 3 times. They had bibs.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, and they had rubber gloves if you didn't want to get your hands dirty.
Didn't work for me. I ruined 3 shirts.
Yeah, you had 3 shirts by the time I came home. But
I was wiping my hands on my shirt. Oh.
That was Monday, and then Monday night we got back, we relaxed, went back to bed, and got up early Tuesday, and then spent the entire day traveling home because of layovers, and had the longest flight ever from Detroit to Milwaukee. It just felt like forever. But we had an awesome trip, got to see a lot of fun stuff. Did not bring any beads home.
No. Even though Nanette showed off both of her tattoos, it was like, no, don't show us your tattoo. No, I'm just kidding. So that guy did want some of your
he wanted my potato chips.
Yeah. So gumbo, what's gumbo? You want to explain it, or do you want me to?
Gumbo was, it reminded me of a thick stew.
Cassandra, great question.
It was like a stew with rice instead of, it was like rice, no potatoes. It was sausage and crawfish and rice. It was just a thicker kind of it reminded like a beef barley stew, a heavy stew.
So it was really difference between jambalaya, I can't pronounce that the right way. Jambalaya and gumbo is jambalaya is all together. Everything's mixed in with the rice in, and it's really super thick, and it cooks. The flavors cook throughout the rice as well. Gumbo is the soup and the broth and everything, and then they take an ice cream scoop of rice and they put it right on top. So that's kind of the same thing. But I tell you what, we had the best gumbo at this one place. It was just mwah,
and they gave it to us with bread.
Yeah.
Which was nice to have it. It was
and
not
they provide the free Tums too.
Yeah, so exactly. We did ask for mild on everything we ate.
What are the Tums for? Oh, you're gonna know.
You're gonna know real soon. So we did that, and we shopped a little. We had a lot of fun. Yeah. And the weather ended up being Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, 86 to 88.
Sounds hot.
It wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad. We'd walk around, and you get kind of tired and kind of warm and everything, but you'd walk in somewhere and, have a lunch or whatever, and you'd be fine.
Somebody asked if we would go back again.
Yes. I want to hold on just a second. So I want to make it real clear. When we went to New Orleans, our intent, we looked at probably 5 or 6 or 7 different places. This was our 40th anniversary. And we wanted to do something a little bit different. We didn't want to go, we even talked about Paris and Italy for a while. And we wanted to we talked about Boston. We talked about Canada.
We talked about North Carolina.
We talked about, folks, we talked about North Carolina.
It was that or New Orleans.
I don't think we had talked about Florida, but so we decided on New Orleans because I had been there a couple of times, again, 15, 20 years ago for work. And I love the city. I love the culture of the city. And I want to come back to Frank's comment about waffles and that in just a second. But our intent 100% was to go down and relax and not, at 8 o'clock, we're going to do this. At 10 o'clock, we're going to do this. Thank you very much, Bioscapus. I'm pronouncing it wrong. And Jen Lee, thank you very much. 40 years. Can you believe she's been tolerating me for 40 years?
Can you believe we spent 5 days,
40 years. How long have you been married? 40 years.
40 years.
So, no, we've been married 46 years, and
we've been married 40
happily
years.
40.
Dating 4 years prior to that.
So our intent was to relax, and number one priority, seriously, folks, the food down there, I'm from the South. Can you tell by my accent? Can you all tell from my accent? I'm from the South. So, I remember going down with my parents and going to my mom's Uncle Johnny's. Everybody called him. It doesn't matter if it was,
Joe or Bill or who.
It was Uncle Johnny's, and getting the big pots. I give you the huge pots of cooked crayfish, crawfish, and pots of lobster and pots of crabs. And, everybody would grab a plate, just load up, and great memories. So for me, it was the food, and we wanted to see a couple of other things, and we wanted to relax and take the paddle boat. So those were the things that, thank you very much, Critter Corner. So those were the things that were on our agenda for the trip. It wasn't going to be anything, run and hustle and try to do this and try to do that like we have for every other trip that we've made.
We actually canceled. We were going to do the bus tour of the city, and we decided, let's not even do that. Let's just walk through and do what we really want to do. And I don't like creepy. So I didn't want to do voodoo. I didn't want to do the swamp tour. Didn't enthuse me at all. And I didn't want to do any.
You didn't want to catch
any cemetery
and cut up your own alligator for dinner?
No, didn't want to do any of that. I just wanted to be able to relax, and we did a lot of relaxing, a lot of time together just to sit and talk and just be with each other and not have everything else going on around us. And we pretty much stayed off our phones, other than once in a while we would post pictures of our trip. And we just we didn't check on things with the business. No. I mean, Crystal would text me and say, we got these animals tonight after they did their check, but we didn't communicate back. We were by ourselves. It was nice.
We thoroughly enjoyed each other's company as much as we could, and talked, and we relaxed. More than anything, we relaxed. Frank is saying Wally was born in 1389. I was not. But I was with Andrew Jackson. Well, I call him Old Hickory, when we fought in the Battle of New Orleans.
In 1812?
Yeah, in 1814. So, I helped him along that. I held his horse's reins while he, directed the troops. So
Mopeds, I walked around a couple people on Royal Street, but I didn't trip over anybody on Bourbon. Bourbon wasn't there. I expected Bourbon Street to be, I don't know how to even describe it. I thought Bourbon Street would be a lot rougher than Bourbon Street was when we walked through. And we went through on a Saturday night. I was surprised. We didn't see a lot of homeless on Bourbon Street. There were a lot of people sitting around talking, but we didn't see a lot of that. We saw more of that closer to our hotel. We saw the homeless sleeping on the ground around us and stuff, or somebody that had drank too much and had collapsed on the ground, but not a whole lot. And
so the good thing about New Orleans, there's a lot of history, obviously, and especially, we on our trip back on the paddle boat, we got the full story of Katrina. And I was just mentioning to somebody that Helene was kind of like a, Eastern Coast Katrina. And God help everybody that was in the Katrina or the Helene terrible disaster. But Katrina was this country's, I feel, this country's worst disaster as far as how the people were treated and what they had to go through. And not to bring the show, crashing down here, but wow,
it wasn't good.
It wasn't good.
The guy that did the narration of it on the paddle boat had family that went through it, and he referred to different family members and how things happened for them and how the city reacted to things. And
hi, Alexander.
we just kind of sat there going, why didn't they do this, or why couldn't this have happened? And I mean, we're behind this, it's not us doing it, but you sit back and you just think about it, and it's like,
so the good thing about,
wish they could have done more.
I know. The good thing about New Orleans is a ton of history, obviously, being our one of our major ports, and was, back in Revolutionary time, because of the sugar exportation and everything, and all the history from Britain to Spain to France to back to Britain and back to us eventually, as being such an important city in this country's history, and all the little pieces of history along the way, and the Katrina story, of course. So great from a historical standpoint, great from a cultural standpoint. You have the mixing of ethnicities, which is super cool, and to hear the different languages was just a blast.
Yeah.
I wanted to go down to Riverwalk and just sit there for a couple, 3-4 hours and just listen to people and watch people. And we got a chance to do that, and that was super cool. The bad thing about, New Orleans is that there's some areas, just like any other city, big city like that, there's some areas that are really super poor, and that's hard. And you see the poor in the streets, and you see some of the struggles, obviously, that they go through. So, Frank, I'm going to mention the story real quick.
Somebody asked where we would go on our 45th, and he's responding to Waffle World.
So, and did you answer, Cassandra? Would you go again?
I did not, because you said to wait.
Okay, go ahead.
I would not go back. I don't think. We've done it. It was interesting. I loved it. The food was phenomenal. It was a great trip, but I don't think I would go back, because I told Wally basically when we came back, we were talking about it. We didn't not do anything that we wanted to do when we were there.
Right.
We covered it all.
Yeah.
I would go back to other places, but I probably wouldn't go back myself. It was great, but no.
For me, I would not, unless the whole family said, "Hey, let's go down to New Orleans."
Yeah, that would be
Christopher, Jordan, Tim,
when the kids
we got
are
together
older,
and took the grandkids. I think that would be a blast.
when they're
the
older.
trolleys, walking it. How many miles did we walk?
Oh,
I'm not a walker, folks.
No, he is
I
not.
don't walk out to the post box in front of our house to get mail. I wait until Nanette gets home and she can drive up to it. So I'm not a walker.
He's
I
not a
never have
walker at all.
been. Never have been at all. We walked how many miles?
22.5 miles. We walked over the weekend. We watched the steps constantly and logged them in. And we walked a ton. And it was fun. But you didn't feel like you were walking. And it wasn't like it was a hard walk, because it was all flat.
And you could stop and look at a shop. And not that we stopped ever.
No, we just kind of kept moving. We saw the casino. We walked past the casino. We saw key places as we walked.
Yep.
But it was a casual walk. It wasn't like a hustle bustle walk.
I will say, I want to go back to Frank's comment about Waffle World. I had sent Frank a picture. I had very little social media interaction over the 4 or 5 days, but we had right at our hotel, we stayed at the Wyndham, right outside of our hotel at the end of the block was what was it, Nanette? Waffle. Oh, Frank probably knows.
I don't remember what it was called. Where's your phone? I'll look at the picture.
Know. It doesn't matter.
I don't remember.
It was a waffle ice cream thing.
Yeah,
wasn't
it was a waffle ice cream shop. They
and
had
we went
cream.
in
Everything
and
was in waffle.
It was just like, it doesn't look right.
No.
And the last day, I was so boy, this is going to be gross. But sorry, folks. Of all the good things, and I didn't tell you any of this, but would you walk 500
we
more?
Want to do this online?
I would walk 5. So the last day we were going to, hey, Gary.
Waffles and ice cream would be good, Gary.
But great.
Theirs
I'm glad we
didn't
didn't eat it this one, because the last day, I don't think you saw it, but there was like a parade of insects
Oh,
walking
no, I
out of
did
this
not.
and down into the gutter
No,
across the sidewalk.
No.
It was
Nola
a
waffles.
parade.
It was called Nola,
Nola
waffles.
waffles.
It was an ice cream shop with waffle cones. We did see waffles in cellophane because we went into a little grocery store looking for maybe muffins for the next morning because we thought we would do that. And there was a little
Pre-baked waffles
in a thing.
I don't know why we didn't get any.
Because we didn't have a microwave.
No.
And I wasn't going to eat that. It just, ugh.
Yeah.
No.
So would I go back? Probably not, but other than maybe with our grandkids.
When
if
they
we
were
went as a
older enough
family.
to handle it, because it's not, there's areas that are just not appropriate for them.
Did you miss anything? Did you feel like we missed anything
No.
at New Orleans? I don't think so
No,
either.
we
I
hit
really don't.
things that we really wanted
So-
to see.
Great vacation. Could we have done 7 days? Yeah, I don't think so. We did everything in a very relaxed manner, so it wasn't a tight schedule at all.
Mhm.
So the 5 days, and actually, a lot of that, a good day was traveling.
Tuesday was all day traveling because we left at like, we were at the airport
Friday
by
was a
9
half a
and we
day,
got
so it
home
was-
at 5:00.
So 3.5 days,
Yeah,
technically.
But it was still a lot of good. And the riverboat, I think, was my favorite because of all the history and everything that we
Frank's
learned about.
AI. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the other thing I wanted to mention real quick is that NARBC is coming up.
Oh.
NARBC Tinley Park. So we
That's-
go
Tomorrow
out
night
of
we're
the
leaving, aren't we?
frying pan and into the fire. So we're traveling tomorrow. We're staying with some close family tomorrow night, enjoying some wonderful company down in where do they?
They live in Steger, Illinois.
Steger.
They're about a half an hour from Tinley.
Yeah, not
Right.
even probably
We
20
gotta
minutes. 20 minutes
Send them a
from.
message
Tinley.
tonight.
Okay, send them now. We'll stop the show.
Yeah,
We'll send
we
them.
got to send them a message.
So we're going to do that tomorrow night, and then Saturday we're getting up early. We're going to VIP, hitting the trail. I'd like to get some video, but I always feel uncomfortable trying to
It's
interview
hard.
people at shows, the vendors, especially because everybody's busy and it's just hard. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Mhm.
Hopefully we can get some interviews and hopefully we can show some amazing animals. Then I'd asked before the show, what are you getting at Tinley? Well, I've pretty much gotten all the animals that I'm going to get. I already arranged. And folks, if you're looking for something special at a show like this, check out the vendors before the show to find out if they have the animals that you're looking for. I've made arrangements for a few animals, getting them before the show, already paid for, already done deal. We walk in, we get the animals, we walk out. We'll do a lot of looking around. We'll talk to a lot of people, take some pictures. It'll be a fantastic show.
Animals?
We are bringing home animals in it. Absolutely. I'll do a video on the animals that we bring back, but one of the animals is one that we've had for a long time and didn't have for the last 4, 5, 6 years, but we're going to go ahead and start working with them again. And we'll see how that works. Did you see any, hide the current, did you see any questions? Who's all going, let's do a raise of hands. How about saying me in the chat? Let me know if you're going to Tinley. Let me know if you guys are planning on going to NARBC Tinley. And you guys are like, what's NARBC Tinley? National Reptile Breeders, blah, blah, blah. North American in Tinley Park, which is just southwest of Chicago. I consider, if it's not the biggest reptile show, it's one of the biggest reptile shows in the country, if not in the world. Ham is a huge one, obviously.
Tinley's elsewhere, though, too, right?
NARBC is actually in Dallas and St. Louis, and I think a couple of other spots. Big show, really big show. I know of animals that are going to Tinley and maybe coming home with us that you're not going to find anywhere else ever.
Angry Dwarf's going to be there for VIP.
Angry Dwarf, look me up. Look for the hat. Look for my Supreme Gecko and say hi.
The hat that almost didn't come home from
What do you mean? What didn't almost come
Orleans.
home? Yeah, how about that?
Yeah, that was close. I almost forgot the hat in the airport. They came on
Tell
the
the story.
plane. We have a hat that was sitting in the area, the waiting area. It is a Ranger's hat. Did anybody lose their Ranger's hat? And we had already realized that Wally had lost his hat at that point, and there was no
We're
going
boarding,
back.
and it's like, hey, do you have my hat? no, I don't have your hat. And immediately it's like, I know I left it under the seat. I had my bag, I had the hat on top. I grabbed the bag and just pulled up instead of, did we lose a light? No. I pulled the bag up. The hat probably sat there under the seat. Somebody luckily grabbed it. So, as everybody's now in their seats, it was the embarrassing, hey, did anybody lose a Rangers hat? Rangers? Oh, God. And no, I think it's a Chicago Blackhawks hat. Yeah, that would be me. So, luckily,
4 times.
Yeah, I think 4 times. Anybody with a missing.
Yes,
so
it's ours.
Then they made me walk all the way from the back of the plane all the way to the front of the plane and do the walk of shame back to my seat. They delivered it
to you.
They delivered it to
and
us.
then they gave you
a lot of heck about it.
Almost killed you again on that plane because they gave you granola bars. And I said, let me just look at the granola bar because that one clicked in my head and it was loaded with flax seeds. I said, don't touch it.
I've got to start reading more about food stuff.
You need to start reading it, and we both need to be more. But we also need to consider carrying the EpiPen when we go places.
Maybe we should do that. So, NARBC Tinley Park will be a great show.
Mm-hmm.
I say great because it's going to have some of the best animals out there. We're so fortunate that we have great shows here in Wisconsin and Northern Illinois, especially in Wisconsin. The organizers are just amazing folks, just absolutely amazing. We have some great animals here, but it's more than that. It's the experience. It's the experience of meeting breeders that you might not meet anywhere else. I know, a couple of breeders that are coming in from New York, a breeder that's coming in from California, Gecko Man. I'll be seeing Gecko Man, and hopefully he'll be hitting me over the head with a plank and then making me sign it or do something like that.
Please don't.
It's for NARBC. It's for USARC. I'm sorry. But, it's a great experience meeting everybody, talking to the vendors, talking about animals. Now, NARBC Tinley in the fall is, it's hard. It's hard talking to the breeders. And I tell you what, folks, if you have a question, make it quick, make it to the point. Don't walk up and say, hey, how do I care for African fat tails? That's a Google kind of thing. But if you have a specific question, hey, I'm doing everything the way I think that I should with this animal, any gotchas with it. If you're looking at buying an animal, don't feel like the vendor, the breeder can spend a half hour kind of talking through the care. Should probably already have some research in. And I can't more strongly suggest have enclosures ready for the animals that you might be purchasing at these reptile shows.
Yep.
Pre-hand so that you can bring them home. They're going to be under enough stress in going to these shows that, trying to keep them in a deli cup for another day or two and setting up an enclosure, setting up the wrong, oh my gosh, set up the enclosure. I don't have a heat lamp and they need heat. Make sure you have everything set. Make sure you do your research. The best thing that you can do is go on the NARBC Tinley Park site and look at the vendor list and figure out where you're going to spend some time and maybe some of the animals that you might be getting planned now. If you're looking at a show like this and looking at getting inverts or isopods, have an enclosure set up for some time before you even pick them up. Ready to go, bioactive, with springtails, and you can, hit the ground running with the animals so that they have less stress and better chance to survive in your care. And get business cards. Get business cards. If you buy animals, get the business card I cannot tell you how many times, hey, I got this animal from this show. I don't know who the breeder was. I'm telling you, I don't make stances like this that often, but there is absolutely no reason whatsoever if you're buying an animal that you're not taking a card or writing their name or getting your phone out and say, hey, do you mind if I just take a picture of you and your sign so that you remember, so you can come back. I get question after question after. I bought these animals at the show. I don't know who the vendor was. I'm not sure who I bought them from, but the animal isn't doing well. What should I do? I don't know how the breeder kept them. The very first thing that you should start with is the breeder And you should know how they kept the animals. You should go to them first. I don't mind taking questions. I don't mind answering questions like that. But I will always ask, have you talked to the breeder first about this? Because they're the experts. They're the ones, as many years as I've been keeping reptiles, as many years as I've been keeping geckos, as many years as I've been keeping rarer geckos, I'll always suggest go to the breeder first because they're the experts with those animals. Yeah, write something on those cards. Absolutely. Pick up their card and write information on the back. Seriously, it's so easy to just grab your phone and take some pictures too. It just, you just bring home not just the animals, bring home some knowledge. Make sure you have the supplies. Make sure that you get their food at the show. There's always vendors selling and sometimes giving away free crickets. Make sure that you have food for those animals, when you pick them up.
Angry Dwarf,
Yes.
you are right too. Getting there early and the VIP is well worth it for Tinley. Tinley will get packed. The last time we went, we didn't do that. We thought we were good getting in there when we did. The parking was pure luck that I found a spot when we did in the front. Otherwise, we would have been walking forever. We did VIP this time too. It'll be a lot easier to get in, I'm hoping, the earlier we can. And
you get to see some of the choice animals right off the bat. So that's what you need to do. It's going to be a fun show. We're going to not be there Friday for VIP, but we'll be there Saturday VIP. If you're there, Saturday VIP, you see me walking around, stop me and say hi. My problem is, and this is the worst thing, this is the worst feeling I have at shows like this. I love the shows. The worst feeling I get is for somebody to walk up and say, hey, how are you doing? I'm Dave. I talk to you all the time on YouTube. And then it's like, better. I'm Dave. I talk to you all the time on YouTube. I talk to you about the problem with the leopard gecko. You help me out. And I want to kind of continue that conversation and ask how it's doing. And it's like, I don't know how. I don't remember this person at all. Oh, no, I'm Angry Dwarf Axe. And it's like, try to get the gears in line. Okay, I got you now. So it always takes me a long time. If I give you that, hey, how's it going? It means that I don't know your name and I can't put those together. I know the IDs for the most part, on YouTube. I know the IDs on Instagram. I know the IDs on Facebook. But some people, Joke Buffer, have different IDs all over the place, and sometimes it's hard for me to recognize.
We have probably already met this guy and don't even know we've met him.
He was probably, that car that was sitting in front of our house today when we left. So introduce yourself. Don't feel like you're reiterating your name, and I'll gladly take it because I just struggle with making the connection because we talk. I'll be very honest. I talk to a lot of people every single day. I probably get a dozen to 20 questions, and I just get kind of lost in the details sometimes, unfortunately. It's just difficult.
You forget what I tell you half the time.
Well, no, I don't forget. I just don't listen in the first place.
Oh.
I'm tempted to get a shirt that has my username on it. Oh my gosh. Cool, I love that. Your username and then Tim or whatever. Supreme Gecko Wally. I love that. That's a great idea. Yeah.
It's a great idea.
I should probably just put a little patch here, Wally.
I don't think you have to. That hat, everybody knows. In fact, I even said that to you in the airport. You took your hat off when I ran down to the bathroom to get pretzels. And I came back and I couldn't see where we were at. And I was like, where are you? And then all of a sudden I saw you because you had no hat on and I didn't realize it. He did yell at me too for one of the pictures that went out on Facebook. He's like, you put a picture out there without my hat.
Don't look it up because I deleted it.
No, you did not.
Yeah, and Nanette came back to the seat and did the David Spade Saturday Night Live thing. And you're sitting here because...
Who are you? Get a tattoo? No.
SG.
No.
I love the waffle.
After this weekend, what do we have?
Oh.
Next Friday, the 19th? or 18th.
Something that I should know that we're doing.
Yeah, we're leaving for La Crosse because we have the
That's right.
Scaled Up show in La Crosse on the 19th. So we'll leave on Friday and take Crystal with us and have the show on Saturday next week. We're busy.
And then it gets really busy.
And then we have one weekend off, and then it's show.
And it's in folks,
And then it's
not this last
Supreme
week.
Days of Christmas.
And we'll mention this, and then we'll end the show here, so everybody could run outside and see the northern lights. If you're in the northern country, like we are,
Angie, have you seen anything?
Angie,
she said she was going to keep watching.
So I was just going to mention the show no weekend, not this week, but I've already started planning for the Supreme 12 Supreme Days of Christmas. Get it right, Wally. And I already have my list from last year, and I have already started some of the work on. Actually, when I came back Tuesday night after we had finished feeding for another 2.5 hours, I jumped on the computer and started looking up a couple of things for the 12 Supreme Days of Christmas.
Nothing yet.
I'm in that process. I'm in the process of getting everything together, and in just about a week or two, letters are going to start going out to the donors, and we're going to start collecting information and maybe collecting donations, or the promise of donations. When did all the spiders and stuff get included into the NARBC event?
Mm-hmm.
Did it always include other animal species besides reptiles and amphibians from the start? I think they became more prevalent when spiders, and especially inverts like isopods, became more popular. It's always, whatever people are demanding. Obviously they're not going to have, horses there, or boy, that's a bad example. Or chickens. Hopefully they don't have chickens like some other shows. But anyways, I think they became more prevalent when there was more of a demand for those animals. And I think that so I'll say probably 5, 6, 7 years ago, they really, really started coming out with some of those animals. Was there a question? Did I miss a question up here?
I don't know. I think that was the question.
Nothing yet, Angie says.
No, nothing outside. Angie's like 5 minutes from our house, so.
Where's Waffles the Elf book? Oh my gosh, we have a lot planned for the 12 Supreme Days of Christmas.
Crystal's
we really
got
do.
A whole big thing.
Crystal will probably run the whole Waffles thing.
Yeah, she's got something going with Waffles right now.
I have actually done interviews that are sitting out there ready to go, so that during the 12 Supreme Days of Christmas, we have content to provide during the event, other than interviews of donors and things like that. We'll have honest to goodness video content that I can provide, so people don't go, hey, you need another video. No, thank you very much for asking. This year we're going to have real videos out there. I've met so many people I never would have imagined being in the hobby. I get in because they thought jumping spiders are cute. Absolutely. Yes, Gecko Man. It was mostly wild-caught inverts in the beginning. As more and more were captive and bred, the popularity rose. Yes. Waffles the Elf's girlfriend is showing up? I didn't know about Waffles' girlfriend, so that's news to me.
He has a girlfriend. She introduced it at the end last year.
Did we really?
Yeah, I can't remember. She found her. She was all excited.
Northern lights are out, but too much light pollution here. Wish I was up north. So we're probably going to hop in the car in a couple of minutes here. We're not. And we're going to head up probably about 5 miles, maybe to Holy Hill. And Holy Hill's like 5-10 minutes away, and we're going to see if we can see some northern lights up there. So I'm going to let everybody go. I know it's been super busy, and I know this isn't a true interview, but I really wanted a chance to kind of explain what we've been doing the last week or so, and take the time to say hi to everybody and ask everybody how they were doing. Next week we look forward to an interview on the live Thursday nights. We're going to go live Thursday nights, 6:30 until we hit the 12 Supreme Days of Christmas. Then the lives are done for a while because we'll be going on and off every other day other than weekends. So watch for the 12 Supreme Days of Christmas coming up the end of November, the day after, and might start early. Some things might start early, but the true 12 Supreme Days of Christmas starts the day after Thanksgiving, Black Friday. And it's going to go all the way through until a few days before Christmas. It goes every other day. We do
It goes Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
It goes Monday, Wednesday, Friday, every other day.
Yeah, but not weekends.
Not weekends. Good point. And more information is going to come out. Make sure that you go to the 12 Supreme Days of Christmas webpage. You favorite, you put it up in your navigation bar. You do whatever you can to make sure that you can get to that 12 Supreme Days of Christmas webpage, because that's where we share all the happenings and all the tidbits and all of the you need to do this to enter kind of stuff.
Gecko Man put out prayers for the victims in the hurricane, definitely.
And again, like we said in the very beginning, I cannot imagine the horrors. And even if people weren't hit directly, this impacts everybody in Florida and the East Coast. From Helene, the tragedy that we had last week. So our thoughts and prayers are with everybody. It's just, hope for everybody's safety and certainly as quick of a recovery as they can possibly see. So day 13 of the 12 Supreme Days of Christmas in January. So on that note, everyone say a prayer for those affected by the hurricanes. And if you're going to NARBC, look me up, hit me over the head and say, hey, Wally, it's me. And we'll see you there. And if not, look for videos coming out next week. And we'll talk to you next Thursday. Love you all too. Bye-bye all.